Okay, so as you can see in the last couple of hours in XRP, we got this decent move on the upside, and I do think it's actually a bullish sign. And in this video, I want to specifically talk about this part of the price action and tell you how I like to count the waves in here and what might be next in XRP in case that the bottom is in. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are having a great time with your family and loved ones. And if you remember in the previous videos, I was saying that the situation in XRP is actually quite a bit better than a lot of other altcoins. Why is that? You see, what do we have off of the absolute lowest low in this region? A very solid and a strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 on the upside, and followed by that a correction structure down, potentially in form of either an ABC flat or maybe a WXY. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. The point is this is some sort of a correction, and from here to about this point we said this can actually be another 5 wave up, and followed by that a corrective movement on the downside, which on a higher degree is a fantastic bullish setup. You see, I was saying maybe in XRP we are having a wave 1, this is the correction for wave 2, and in the previous video specifically, if you go back and watch it, we said in order for us to be confident about this bullish possibility, we need to see soon a decent move up into wave 3, 4, and 5 to a start. And even at this point, our move up is not going to be over because you know it. This white 5 wave up on a higher degree is actually going to be into a larger degree wave 3, and then correction for 4, and we're gonna have another move up into wave 5. And I'm willing to bet that just in this phase in Ripple, we are going to set an all-time high and take the highest high around $3.50. So this was our bullish possibility, and as you can see in here, we actually got a move on the upside. The question is, can this be an impulse, or maybe this is just going to be a simple corrective movement, and after it's over, we are going to have another move on the downside? Well, you see, if you want to argue that the bottom is in, okay, we said before, we need to be able to find 5 wave impulsive structure up. This is a normal 5 wave. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of impulsive structure, wave 3 right in here, excuse me, should not be the smallest wave. And for our sub waves, you know it, we must have 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. There we go. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different patterns. Let's say, yep, sure. A, B, C, D, E, a triangle into 4, and maybe a normal ABC structure into wave 2. Now, this is the key. This is a normal 5 wave. We can have other kinds of impulsive structure, and for example, one is going to be a wedge. In a wedge, we are going to have a wave 1, correction for wave 2, decent move up into wave 3, and it has to be smaller than wave 1, correction for 4, it's going to be smaller than wave 2, and here's the deal. Unlike a normal 5 wave, in this structure, we must have overlapping of the waves between our wave 2 and 4, and this is our final move up into wave 5. And in terms of the subwaves, it's pretty much the same, but with a very small difference, and it's the fact that for our wave 2 and 4, if you 100% want to go according to the rules, you need to be able to find ABC zigzags and nothing else. Now, here is another form of impulse, and it's going to be, you know it, if you are a regular viewer, an expanding leading diagonal, and it looks like this. This is wave 1, this is wave 2, big move up into wave 3, it has to be larger than wave 1, correction for 4, it's going to be bigger than wave 2, and also in here we're going to have overlapping of the waves, and this is our final move up into wave 5, which must be the biggest wave in this structure. And you can argue that this is kind of the opposite of a wedge structure in order to remember it maybe a bit better. Understood? Okay, now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening and what kind of impulse can we identify in case of a bullish scenario starting from this point. So here's a question. Can we say maybe this is going to be from here? 5 up into 1, correction for wave 2, another 5 into wave 3, correction for 4, and this is another move up into wave 5. I'm going to say it no. Why is that? Well, let's zoom in more and measure the length of our wave 3 and see what is happening. So, okay, is it going to be smaller than wave 5? The answer is yes. Is it also smaller than wave 1? As you can see, the answer is by this amount of margin? Yes. So because in this structure, our wave 3 is clearly the smallest wave, we can argue that this is not going to be in play because wave 3 being the smallest wave is a big no-no in Elliott waves. So you might say, well, okay, then we are having in here probably some sort of a correction. I would argue maybe not. You see, I think we can all agree this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. Followed by that, we are probably dealing, I would say, with an ABC zigzag. This is A, this is B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave C. And from this point, you see, this can also be another impulse on the upside, and followed by that, a correction structure. I would say yes, maybe to about this point, we are having an ABC flat, and then from here, we can have another impulse. Now, on a higher degree, I would argue if we want to be bullish in XRP, we can say this is 1, this is 2, and the current move is going to be into wave 3, and we need to see a correction for 4, and then after it, another move on the upside into wave 5, which on a higher degree is going to be, you know it, into a larger degree, wave 3 and 4 and 5. I'm going to say it. This is probably the only bullish possibility that we can identify in here, and as long as we are going according to this thing, I can definitely be optimistic in Ripple and say probably the bottom is in. What happens if we get a move down and clear all the lows in here? Okay, that's actually going to be, believe it or not, a fantastic long opportunity for me. And I promise you, right around these areas, I am definitely going to go long in XRP in hope that we get the next phase of the bull run and set an all-time high, take the highest high around $3.50, and hopefully go quite a bit more higher than that. So you see, in the midterm, meaning in the next couple of months, there's, for now at least, pretty much no doubt in my mind that XRP is absolutely bullish. What I'm talking about in here is just for the short-term price action, meaning in the next couple of days. And I would argue that you just need to see XRP setting higher highs and high lows, and then correction and another move on the upside. Now, what's going to be the invalidation point for this scenario? I would argue a relatively deep move on the downside, but if you want to have the absolute invalidation point, is going to be taking this low all the way down here, about, let's say, $2.06. So if we take this low, at that point, we are going to say, look, there is pretty much no shot for us to be able to find a starting from this point and to about this high, an impulsive structure, and it means this was actually a correction, and our move down is going to potentially continue a bit more. As long as we're not doing that, we can argue that maybe the bottom is in. Now, let's just zoom out a bit more and go on daily time frame, see what is going on in terms of indicators, and then wrap up today's video. Okay, so what do we have? As you can see in MACD, we are still having a still signal. However, this is actually a bullish sign because in a stock RSI, what do we see? I think this is actually a confirmed buy signal, and because this thing is happening somewhere around the oversold region, okay, it does suggest that maybe bears are getting exhausted and soon bulls are going to take over and just push the price higher and higher. But I would argue if you want to be bullish with a lot more confidence, you just have to wait a bit more and see in here also a buy signal in MACD. And in weekly time frame, let's just do this and zoom in more. Okay, so this is great because in MACD, we are still having this buy signal, which suggests that our move up in Ripple is just far, far from over. What is not going to be an optimistic sign is the fact that in a stock RSI, we are having a sell signal, and this happened around the overbought region. Now, does this mean that we're going to go all the way back down to these levels? Absolutely 100% not. I find that extremely hard to believe. This just means that for now, we are able to say maybe in weekly time frame, this is a very important point, in weekly time frame, bulls are not that strong. So again, if you want to be bullish with a bit more confidence, because the trend is absolutely bullish, but again, in the short term, if you want to say that we are going to continue our move up, maybe wait a bit more and see a buy signal in here. But I would argue if you want to have an early signal, maybe pay a bit more attention to what's happening in daily chart and not weekly time frame. And if you see a buy signal also in MACD in here, that's actually going to be a great sign. So for now, seems like that in XRP, we are actually on the right direction. and everything looks optimistic, and I just do not want to see, starting from the current point or maybe a bit higher, a relatively deep move on the downside, because that is going to unfortunately invalidate this bullish possibility in the short term. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XRP's chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.